Yeah, we spoke about it a little bit today, and we'll speak even more in depth tomorrow. I want to make sure to take care of him because that was a massive amount of travel and probably unlike anyone else has had to deal with. So we just have to be smart about it. I think if he's ready to play and he's fit to go, then we'll take that into consideration because he certainly is a player we want in our squad. If not, I was really happy with Lucas McNaughton last week stepping in for him. I think he got put in some really difficult situations that we can do better for what's in front of our center backs, and we will do better. But him and Matty Poltola, I'm expected to be a part of our roster this weekend, and then the decision whether to play them significant minutes will come tomorrow.
And what's your timetable on injuries now? Leal's still out.
Yeah, you know what though, Randall's made really good progress. I think we're trying to be really smart about the approach with him. So he trained today and looked great. And we want to see him be available for as many matches as possible this year. So it's a possibility for this weekend, and I think he's trending in the right direction. We just want to see him stay there. Connor Antley's fully in training, which is amazing. So he's going to start to really compete for a position. I think this past week he did, but in the coming weeks he'll get even fitter and fitter. And then lastly, Jackson Hopkins, which is really good progress in his regard. He's on the field now. He's on the grass now, running, and that's just a great moment for him because he's had a really difficult 6 to 8 months.
Hakeem.
Yeah, Hakeem as well. Hakeem as well has been into full team training for about 10 days now. So he'll again, like Connor, he'll start to make a case for himself with more training under his belt.
Yeah, Coach. Obviously, first loss of the season last week against Orlando. Just how's the team going to bounce back? I know there's so many more matches in the season, but
Yeah.
you take a tough one, 4-1 on the road. Just how do you guys bounce back and this week at home?
Get back to work. I mean, that's the name of the game. We reflected. We got back to work, and we have in a really good fashion this week. We felt like through the first 5 matches, 4 out of the 5 matches, we felt like we looked like ourselves. We didn't against Orlando City for a few different reasons that we pinpointed. And now we're going to make the right adjustments, and we want to get back to being ourselves. And we've done that through the work we've put in this week.
As you guys prepare for Columbus, just what kind of jumps off the tape with them? I know they've been cream of the crop for the past couple of years
Yeah.
in this league. Just what jumps off the tape and how you guys get the win on Saturday?
I think the two questions that you ask go hand in hand. When you have the opportunity in front of you to play against a team like Columbus this week off of a performance last week that you're not happy about, it's a wonderful opportunity. So that's the way that we're looking at it. We need to get back to work, focus on what we're good at, what our identity is, and make sure that we see that on the weekend. Because anytime we go out and we display that, I think we've got a chance against anyone.
Is this a type of loss where you kind of let the players kind of figure things out a little bit, or do you kind of what's kind of like the discussion? Who kind of takes the lead on a loss like that, whether it's the locker room or you guys yourself?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's a combination of these two things. First off, always, I mean, it starts and stops with me, and that's why I communicated what I communicated in the post-match. I have to step up and take responsibility for us not being in our identity, in our way, with full aggression like we usually have. And then what I love about this group of players is they reflect the same way. They look at themselves and talk about how they can get better. And then collectively, as a group, we want to correct anything that wasn't right. And that's why I answered your original question with just get back to work. Get back to work. And this is what we all try to do. And I'm really excited for the opportunity this weekend to play against a team like Columbus.
Back to you, Steve. I don't know if you saw the stat about XG.
Yeah,
And how you guys are at top of the
it's great.
30-team league. What does that tell you in terms of creation, but also in terms of finishing?
I think it tells me that, again, Orlando City being a little bit of an outlier, we didn't create as much against them until late in the match. We're consistently in positions that we're trying to be in. That's what it tells me. And so the next piece of that is we want to consistently finish and capitalize on more of those opportunities. I think we've had some good output in the beginning of the year, but with more output, clearly we're going to put more points on the table. So that's the goal now.
Have you received any, or what kind of feedback have you received from Forrest on how Christian Fletcher's doing, and as that date approaches?
Yeah.
What's kind of the situation?
A little bit of feedback. I mean, Ali McKay stays closer to those situations. It seems like he's trending pretty well for them. I think they've been happy with the productivity that he's had and the matches he's played with their 23s. That's some of the feedback that I've gotten. And he also had a really good run with the 20s recently. So, I mean, that's just great to see for him.
And do you get any kind of indication of where this is headed now?
I don't, I mean, we opened up this possibility of him going there because he earned it, and I think he wants to see it become permanent, and that's something the club supports, just as we did with Matai. But I haven't gotten any indication one way or another if that will come to fruition for him. Yeah.
Brian, we can take some from Zoom.
Hey, Troy. We will go to Dave Johnson.
Hey, Troy.
Hey.
If Kai Rolls needs any advice on recovery, you should call Ryan Nilsson, because he used to do that all the time going to New Zealand from MLS. But anyway, there's an old saying that don't let a crisis go to waste, and one loss is not a crisis. But having said that, can there be something good coming out of getting this kind of defeat early in the season? That may sound like a strange question, but can there be something good that comes out of it?
100%. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And that is a wonderful player in our club's history to refer to for Kai Rolls. I hope that he has the same degree of performances as Ryan Nelson, because that was a top center back. And I had the fortune to finally meet him in person in October of last year. And he's just as he was a wonderful player, he's also a tremendous person, someone that Kai should aspire to be like. Yeah, 100%, and that's our approach. I mean, I think crisis that's a heavy word, Dave. I wouldn't, 5 matches into the season, I wouldn't describe anything like that, even after a really poor performance. And one more time, this is something that I look at myself first and take a lot of responsibility for. We're going to learn lessons out of this, and there's many lessons to learn from all 5 of the first matches that we've played. Win, loss, or draw. Whenever you lose, it just refocuses you even more on the things that you want to be great at, and that's what we've tried to really bring into every single player's focus this week as we prepare for Columbus.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean to say one game was a cry. I was
Yeah.
just trying to be clever with a quote.
Right.
And every time I try to be clever, it falls. It's a wonder I still have a career. You were in the post-game press conference about the Orlando game. You were talking about, but there were some building points, some good things.
Yes. Yeah.
What are some of those things you were referring to? Because it was not all loss.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I understood completely what you meant. Words are important. They're very important these days, And then what's more important than that is the action that follows it. If you look at us being down 1-0 in that match, and this is what I love about our group, they all know at 1-0 we were starting to get a hold of the game finally. We were coming back into the game, and the way we came back in that game prior to going 2-0 down was we were better with the ball. We made better decisions with the ball. We had control in the opponent's half. They weren't getting out as much. And that's an area that we've tried really hard to focus on throughout this entire preseason and this entire season to take a step forward. The reflection piece is that how do we not, make the mistake to go down 2-0? And Boris certainly is a player that looks at himself and says, I can't, make that mistake in midfield. And I've challenged him now to say, all right, let's not let that happen again. Let's learn from it, just as we're having this discussion right now. And he will. But I think that's a big talking point for us. Is we came into control in that match. We were coming back into the game, and it's because we were really good with the ball. And now we need to have all phases come together, and do that earlier, prior to going down 1-0.
Next, we'll go to Bruce.
Hey, Troy, thanks for your time.
Yeah, man.
Hey, in a counterattacking league, you just ran into probably the number 1 counterattacking team in the league. I got to think the coaches are really just, poring over that film because, you're going to see this again, and it's going to be a great opportunity to do things differently. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Orlando, no doubt about it. They had power when they went into attacking transition for themselves. And to exactly what you just said, Columbus also has that ability. So it's an opportunity for us to be able to replicate some of the moments that we got right, and then certainly correct some of the ones that were some of the many situations we put ourselves in last weekend that weren't right. And again, I think that starts with the match plan, making sure everybody's in a role and a responsibility they feel comfortable with, and that ultimately brings out their best qualities. And we're one of the best teams in the league at winning the ball high up the field, and one of the best teams at going in attack and transition. So we didn't look like that last week, and we're gonna correct that. We're gonna make sure to always correct that.
We were really impressed with Lucas McNaughton. Can you speak to just jumping in and also Lucas Bartlett and how he always envelops these players and just makes them better? It's really kind of neat to see.
I mentioned that earlier, about Kai being back. I think Lucas Bartlett and Lucas McNaughton will one more time look at themselves and say that's clearly not good enough when you lose a match and we give up 4 goals. I mean, that's obvious, but they did a lot of things well in the match, and they had to put out a lot of fires. So I think both have shown quality this year. Lucas Bartlett more than Lucas McNaughton because he's played in more matches, but we have a good core of center backs. I'm really happy with all of them, Garrison Tubbs included.
Thank you, Troy.
Next, we'll go to Donald Wine.
Thank you. Hey, Troy, good to see you. Thanks for your time today. Columbus, obviously, coming in this week, they're a strong team. But in light of last week and even moving into this week, where do you think that you can find some holes to take advantage of?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like from our standpoint, when we've been at our best and some of our best stretches, I kind of talk about being good in all phases of play, but we're really difficult to break down. This is something that I think has been a staple of our team over the last year or so. We go in attacking transition. We make really decisive, we create decisive moments for goal-scoring opportunities. This is why the XG is high. But then also with the ball, we've created a lot with the ball this year. And I really want to see that continue, but I want to see us sustain that over the course of 90 minutes because a team like Columbus, they have their own identity, and they're going to try to influence the game in their own way. So we had 2 really good matches with them last year, 2 draws, and I expect it to be back and forth. But I want us to be able to, when we leave the match, say that the performance was consistent over the course of 90 minutes, and it was completely in our way in all phases.
And I wanted to ask about Jared Stroud, obviously a key piece of the attack. He's been very consistent. You've talked at length over the last year or so about his work rate and how hard he works at the field. Talking to him earlier, I was asking him, and I want to ask you the same question. A year ago, he was the new guy, and now he's one of the experienced veterans on the team. How has his role changed in your eyes, whether it's on the field or even in a leadership role?
Yeah, Jared, it hasn't really changed that much this year because he's been that type of personality for us from the beginning. This game model, this style of play that we have, Jared's lived it with Red Bull, in his past, and then St. Louis. So he understands what we're looking for, and he's really talented in a lot of areas to do a lot of the dirty work and make the opposition feel really uncomfortable, and then be creative in the final third. So he's someone that I lean on when the picture's not exactly right in video sessions or on field to be able to voice what he sees. And so that's where Jared comes in. Is he knows when things are right, he knows when things are off. Even the other night, he knew the pictures weren't exactly right, and we just didn't make the corrections in time to really make any impact on the game.
Great, thanks, Troy. Appreciate your time.
Yep.
And then we will end it with Christian.
Thank you. Hi, Coach. And my question is about João Pedro. What is your opinion after his 3 games? Maybe he's the player who risked the most dribbles in the team.
I want to see Peglo have more dribbles. I like it when he's on the ball, he's dribbling, he's going at players. This is something that I tried to challenge him on today a little bit. I really like it whenever he's able to face an opponent up and get inside the opponent's box. That's when he's really dangerous. We saw one of his best outputs against Sporting KC, and he's able to draw the penalty and then play the ball to Kojima for the assist. But even outside of those 2 moments, he had such tremendous influence in the game. And then I think we saw glimpses of it, against Montreal, but not the same degree of impact. And then Orlando City was a tough match for the majority of the group. So I just want him to be able to have even more influence over the course of 90 minutes. He's going to be a great player for us, and really, really happy to have him in our team.